Well, it has been 3 months since the last time that I was here, and all kinds of things have happened both here and in our lives. Visits and different things, and doing a lot of family types of activities. I was a guy with a complete experience and track record of about 2 hours by myself and my wife with our granddaughter. And about 2 weeks ago, we spent 8 days with her by ourselves. So that was quite a jump from 2 hours to all of a sudden, you got her for 8 days, and by the way, her parents are in Hawaii. So it wasn't even a close support system in that sense, but we went through that, and it was a lot of fun, and I can tell you I'm definitely a grandfather, and I'm looking for more Hannah time, so I'm showing the signs. I saw you guys, I know, are crunching. I heard Chris, you mentioned it earlier, the Vision Night's coming up, so you guys, in addition to one of the routines that you have going on, you've got one of the big ones coming up that takes some time on the part of everybody. Let's go ahead and just start with prayer, and then we're going to jump into our focus for the day. Okay. God, I thank you for the chance to be here and to meet with these guys and be able to share some things that have been helpful for me and for some others. Thank you for the life that you've given to each of us, the health that you've given us. 57 years for me already, and I'm just very thankful that I'm still healthy and still alive. Help us to be great stewards of the life that you've given us, and help us to use this next 45, 50 minutes of time to grow and to honor you with our life and our thoughts and our actions. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. So, I wanted to start because I'm guessing you guys haven't gathered even in ones or twos and said, hey, what's going on in your life relative to growing on leadership? So I wanted to not talk about a leadership topic, but say it's been 3 months since we last met and talked about a leadership aspect. Who's come across something, observed something, grown in a certain way, tried something and failed relative to some leadership? Just open the floor for some thoughts. What's going on with leadership? Any change?
I've got a brand new volunteer who just graduated from high school just back in June, and so he's new and he's trying to figure out that transition between being a high school student in the ministry and leading high schoolers in the ministry. So we're doing a lot of coaching, a lot of one-on-one time, and he's really doing a great job. But it's fun just to really be there with him. It's like kind of giggling to myself when he talks about a struggle he's having with reading. I'm like, yeah, I've been there, done that.
Yeah.
It's about time you have a little challenge, so it's been a lot of fun.
What would you say you're learning from the fact that you got him stepping out?
Well, it's interesting. I'm 31 now, and so I'm not as young and cool as I used to be. And
it gets better at 57.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, but it's I'm sensing that students are feeling more comfortable talking to him than they are with me, and that's a huge change because I've never really had that before.
Yeah.
And so it's been growing for me.
Yeah.
It's a little different season now.
Yeah.
For that.
So how are you adjusting?
Really well, because I'm thinking, all right, it's actually kind of nice, to pass some of that off to him, and it's a good chance for him to learn and me just to kind of take a little bit of a different context.
Yeah.
And it's really, it's not about me, it's about the kids.
Right.
And it's going to help the kids do it.
Cool, thanks. Who else?
Well, I continue to read the 21 Irrefutable Law of Leadership, slowly but surely, and taking notes. And I think through a lot of things, I don't know, I can't think of specifics at the moment, but been thinking through a lot of it, aspects as he talked about it. So, yeah.
Good.
I think the big one for me is I've had some situations come up with this last year where I've really had to, one with the new food pantry that we're starting up, and just some other areas where I'm typically the type of person when I get assigned to do something, I just take it on all myself. I have a hard time delegating out. Some of it's just control, some of it's trust. So I just had some moments this year where I've really had to kind of let go of those things and trust that people are going to get stuff done. There's even a guy that led worship this Sunday that has only led maybe like 3 or 4 times here, and I was out of town, and even that was like sort of brought on some anxiety of like, man, I hope everything goes good. I hope he doesn't feel too nervous,
Right.
you know. And
Right.
so that's just an area of leadership that I know I need to grow in
Yeah.
quite a bit, and I think God is giving me some opportunities to be able to grow in, as difficult as it is, but
Yeah.
so.
Cool. So what would you say you learned from stepping away and letting him lead?
That everything's okay. It's, you know, it's not as dramatic as I make it out to be in my mind and in my heart when I think about it. So
You must have done more, because the last couple of times you left, there were some technical, difficult, that we had to call you on.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, some of that was
between now and then, you must have done some training, and
Yeah.
done some instruction, and,
yeah.
just gotten all those things sort of to a place where people were able to run with it.
Yeah, and that's the other big thing is when I go out of town, because I oversee our sound system and our PowerPoint and everything else, and there's really no one under me who I call up and say, hey, I'm going to be doing this with the sound system today. I want you to come in and help me out. That way, you know. I've had Tammy has been that person the last few months where it's like, hey, I'm going to be out of town this Sunday. Can we meet in the sanctuary, and I'll just go through everything that I have to take care of before practice starts on Sunday morning. That way, you know what to do when I'm gone, and someone else can do that. So that's really taking care of a lot of those issues too.
Yeah. So some good preparation that just paid off
Yeah.
after school. Very good. Anybody else before we move on?
A lot of what he said at the beginning.
I have one?
No, a lot of what he said at the beginning, about dealing with delegating.
Yeah.
I think the difference in mine is the things that I've seen and decided to not pursue have not necessarily been handled well, and have caused some other issues. But I think it's still something that we can work on. And it's given me the information on what how it needs to be trained. So.
Yeah. So what would you say you are learning from that?
Well, I think one thing is that I can't do it all, so I need to make sure I do a better job of training.
Good, thank you. Well, today, based on Bob raising his hand last time and saying, hey, I think we should go down this path, we're going to talk about spiritual life. And I says to myself, we're talking about a church staff. You don't have to talk about spiritual life. These are the people that live a perfect spiritual life. Isn't that what probably the body as a whole thinks of a church staff? So
Great, we're done early.
they're big, that's right. So we're going to talk about your spiritual life and how you assess how well you're living what you feel like you should be living from a spiritual standpoint, or right, what you feel like God has called you to live. And in my experience in working with a bunch of clients, I have gotten very significantly reinforced that everybody's different. And there is not a template of here's what a spiritual life should look like. And if this is what it should look like for Mike, it should look exactly the same for Jan. Each of us are individuals made in an individual way. And so what I have found is that literally getting a sense and seeking God and understanding what God's revealed in your heart to date about what your spiritual life should look like is potentially different for each of you. And then, potentially, the gap between where you feel like you should be or where you feel like God's called you to be and where you are can be different as well. So we're going to spend some time and go down that path. I have a tool that I typically use with clients that are interested in getting context about their life, have been frustrated with some aspect and don't know how to evaluate it. So we're going to go through and use a life assessment wheel today, and we're going to specifically use the spiritual wedge, which is one of 12 wedges that are on the life assessment wheel. One of the things, a couple of the things that have come out of having people go through the life assessment wheel is one, is it truly gives them context. A lot of times, they're so zeroed in on one or two of the wedges, they haven't even thought about other aspects of their life. And whether they're doing well or not, they don't have a clue. But they feel like something's not right and they're overwhelmed because they're so focused on an individual wedge. What's been interesting for me as a coach is to have a number of people come with a number one topic that they want to talk about. They complete the life assessment wheel and they say, you know what? I was all worked up about the money. It's not the money. It's the relationship with my oldest son. If I can get that taken care of, the weight that I think I've been feeling about the money is just not that big a deal. It'll take care of itself. The thing that I really need to be spending my time on is my relationship with my oldest son. So it's been interesting because there hasn't been a pattern about people coming on one topic and they always result on another one. It could be that they came about a spiritual issue and they said, you know what, no, actually, as I completed the wheel, it's really my financial side, or it's my job, or it's the life pace that I'm living at. It could be all kinds of different things. So it ends up being a great tool to give you whole context for your life, and it gives you the ability to evaluate, where should I be spending my time? And I'll use the analogy that if you're driving a car and you're not aware of how long the oil's been in it, and you don't ever take the time to assess and check, you'll just keep driving the car. And at some point in time down the road, you're going to pay the price for the fact that the oil got dirty and potentially leaked, and you're going to pay the price with the engine in the car. But if you take the time to assess, where am I? How many miles have I been driving this car on this oil? It will then